some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be listening, motionless and still, some natural sorrow, loss, listening, motionless and still, some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be
fierce and more fierce, the gathering tempest drew, south and by west the threatening demon blew. Austere, restless force all air invades, and every rolling wave more ample spreads.
Foam with
Of
racing
old
heart,
and happy, far off things, listened motionless and still. Some natural sorrow, loss, and pain that has been and may be again. A white camp fell. The boat lay like a leaf on a silent pool.
There is rest for
The vast
you.
sweeping blackness filled with quivering stars. Soaked footprints line its cracked path. Now more known.
The melancholy waters lie.
Fact 1. Oban Wilderness Retreats books an average of 1,435 local myth and wildlife tour packages per summer season. Fact 2. This July, 3 conservationists cataloguing golden eagles all swear to have seen a grey-skinned man sleeping in the kelp beds near Cole. Fact 3. Feedback forms contain an average of 8 customers per year stating that they have been changed by their experience. 4. When the weather warms, and the zooplankton booms, and the basking sharks migrate, and the tourists swarm, I cannot stand the density of this place.
All hands on deck now storm. Silver footprints lie beside the path. Whether they are now more moon-rimmed, others still sinking into a small share.
Splashed by the flow of racing tides, but light from the lurid sea streams up the terrace silently.
What thought dissolved,
Fierce and more fierce, the gathering tempest drew. South and by west the threatening demon blew.
with a long grey face,
Stairs restless and force, all pain, and every rolling wave more ample spreads. A white capped, unhappy, far off things, listened motionless and still. Man of the black cap, what do you say, as your proud ship cleaves the brine? My speedy ship takes the shortest way, and I'll follow you line by line. What do you say,
My men are
as your
eager, my
proud
men are
ship
ready, drag you
cleaves
below
the
the
brine?
waves.
to drag
Ship
you.
it,
My speedy ship
ship
takes
is
the
speedy,
shortest
my
way,
ship is
and
steady.
I'll follow
If
you
it
My
sank,
ship is
it
speedy,
would wreck
my
your
ship
cave.
is steady. If it sank, it would wreck your cave.
Sometimes I snap awake and feel a humming in my skin, a drumming, something snapping within, like I am to break. As the pressure grows, I shake, There is no sound, but I feel it howl, a gale confined to bones. My air clicks and spits electricity, ready to rip blinding white and fracture the night sky. The heavens erupt, a rumbling, a roar, abrupt the rain thuds, the shuddering earth is meek beneath the might of this storm. Sometimes I snap awake, the night absorbed by the ghouls of dawn. The humming in my skin is faded and thin, but there is power, a howling in my bones, and something cracking within. Long ago, there were sea monsters capable of eating men whole. In those times, witches of the waves created whirlpools of destructive scale. In those times, lustful men stole the tails from mermaids to trap them as their tragically beautiful wives. In those times, women who stole away in the night were compelled by their selkie nature. They dived from cliffs and emerged from the water as seals. The blue men, glimpsed among the waves, were storm kelpies, or strún feshgorum. They lived in the Minch and were said to be the descendants of fallen angels. They had the power to determine the fate of ships through stormy waters. In the time of the unknown, people needed something to blame. It made sense that men hunted the stories to understand their hazardous mysteries. Today, we know better than to believe in creatures that crush the wooden planks of passing ships with teeth and tentacles. But in doing so, men destroyed the magic. Sea monsters turned out to be merely rocks, wind and whales. Water currents explained whirlpools, and lost women were likely running from trapped or abusive lives. And the blue men, they became many things. They became the waves crashing on the side of ships, the basking sharks that loom just below the water's surface. The blue men's cruelty is now play, their floating slumber a long dormant peace. They transformed their bracken skin to adapt to the changing needs of man. And when all memory of the blue men is eventually forgotten, their influence on the temper of the minch will still exist. To adapt is to survive.
Who could guess if ever motionless and still, some natural sorrow, there is rest for the weary, there is rest for voices ever calm, gruesome and insidious animals to thy own
Of racing clouds,
Go we
but
even
light
through
from
the
the
rain
lurid sea
storm and
streams
storm.
up the terraced silently. Fierce and more fierce the gathering tempest drew, south and by west the threatening demon
Love
blew.
tales running
Our stairs restless, force all air invades, and every rolling wave more ample spreads. Of old, unhappy, far off things, listened motionless and still, some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be again. A white cam fell. The boat lay like a leaf on a silent pool. Vast sweeping blackness filled with quivering stars. Soaked footprints line its cracked path, now more moon than earth.
Oh, to stand still and static.
Fact 1. Adaptation is the evolutionary process where an organism becomes better able to live in its habitat or habitats. Fact 2. Last summer, there was a basking shark whose dorsal fin had been badly torn up by a fishing boat's propeller. It was unable to cope, and we had to put it down. Fact 3. 2 years ago, one of our research teams found a drowned man near the Isle of Mull. No one could identify him. Fact 4. One way or another, someday, I will get out of here.
The stern reclining watch below,
The robe was a
foaming
green
wake,
foam,
below
lightning
was
and white
in the
sand.
air.
That is,
How
he
proud
was
is it
with
to
his
fight
own,
with wind and
or when he
wave,
willed
the
with a
dripping
wand.
where lies the land to which the ship would go, far, far
A white
ahead,
calm
all
spell,
seamen know,
full clear
and where
like
the
a
land she
fire
travels from,
blue,
squares, far, far below,
dim
is all that they can
vast
say.
Stornoway.
blackness.
On sunny eve,
Many a
upon
northern
each
beach
deck
besides,
face,
splashed by the
o'er
foam
the
of
stern
racing
reclining watch
tides,
below,
but light from
When
the
will
lurid
these
sea
neutral eyes
streams
meet
up
again?
the terraced
Magic
silently.
casements opening on the floor.
Fierce and more
Perilous
fierce
seas and
the
fairy
gathering
lands
tempest
along.
drew,
And
south
hear the
and by
rolls of
west
the
the
water.
threatening demon
Sound history,
Our
single
stairs
waves. My
restless,
babe on a
force
curling
all
green
air
wave,
invades,
with a
and
seagull and
every
swan
rolling
and
wave
her
more
killed
ample
cow.
spreads.
If his pillow's
Of old,
sandy reef,
unhappy,
shroud with a
far
canvas
off
flood,
things,
its seals
listened
with the wind,
motionless and still.
its fish with
Some
the
natural
canvas.
sorrow, loss,
no doubt
Green
exactly
lies
the
with
gentleman's
dancing breath,
a white cam
green
fell.
purple barred with
The
gold,
boat lay like a
brown
leaf
wings
on a
my
silent
butterfly
pool.
will.
Vast
White
sweeping
fields,
blackness filled
curling
with
waves
quivering
of
stars.
spraying
Soaked
round,
footprints line its
sail
cracked
over
path, now more moon
sound
than
the
earth.
seaman voices ring.
Man of the black cat, what do you sleep beneath your proud sugar used Many a northern beach besides, splashed by the foam,
setting
racing
rocks on the
tides,
ground.
but voice could never call me the multitudes of thy beasts, drove me fierce and fierce, never yearning to the lost, never the western sea black lightning, on the stairs restlessness, force upon the blonde head, talking of field lift the arm, in my ear the ocean sound, sets me roving from its land, sea voices ever call me, come O love to thy homeland, go, some mountain sorrow.
A recently retired couple enters Oban Wilderness Retreats and approaches the woman stationed behind the desk. She smiles politely as she hands them their tickets, and as they leave, she looks at the clock above the door. Today, she has been sitting at that desk for 4 hours, working in the office for 9 years, living in that town for 28 years, and in all that time, she has never changed her skin.